This is my first rodent.
What does it taste like to you?
Tastes like chicken.
3.5 years ago, I started working with the ACLU. The American Civil Liberties Union is a nonpartisan organization that's been around for 100 years just to fight for every American civil rights. And I got involved with them on the immigration issue as well as some, women's rights issues. And it was really out of that work that I started being curious about other immigrants in this country. I came here as an immigrant when I was 4 from India. And, it bothered me that all of a sudden our attitude about immigrants were changing. Because to tell you the truth, immigrants really built this country, whether they're German immigrants who built the beer industry and built the whole, processing of food, like Oscar Mayer, he was an immigrant. Or it's the Thai people or the Mexican people. And all of these communities have come to our shores and have really contributed to the larger American culture. And that to me is why America is so cool, because it's a combination in a way of the best of all of these cultures that live here. So I wanted to look at these cultures because often they don't get a chance to talk about their own food, the food we all love, on a big main platform. And I thought it was time we heard from the sources. Not one ingredient in apple pie is actually from North America. Not the cinnamon, not the lard or butter, not the milled flour, not even the apples in that apple pie that you just mentioned. Hot dogs, they come here from Germany. So do hamburgers. That's why they're called hamburgers from Hamburg and frankfurters from Frankfurt. But, they've become ubiquitous as American foods because of the contributions that immigrants have made. I mean, Oscar Mayer came here and he figured out how to wrap food in plastic and ship it to different parts of the country without it spoiling. And because he did that, he was able to proliferate, the enjoyment of German specialties all over the country. So it's very possible that if Oscar Mayer was Chinese, we'd all be considering a whole other different, maybe egg rolls would be all American. And to me, a lot of Americans eat lots of egg rolls too. So it was just being open-eyed about who we are as Americans and looking at our history and learning from it. The food is really just an excuse to get to know the people. And I thoroughly enjoyed traveling all over this country. It's such a beautiful country with such diversity, not only in people, but just the landscape. And when I look at the show now, it seems like a lifetime ago, even though it was just last summer that I filmed it. I have to say that I've learned a lot of tricks over the years from people, but even just seeing the way they do things, like simple things like how you skim the fat, off of the top of broth or stock. It never occurred to me to do it with the turkey baster. I'm not sure why. This was early, like 10, 12 years ago when I first came to Top Chef, and it was really easy to see how you could siphon the fat out. Little things like that, just making sure that, something really dumb that we don't even think of, like, if you don't want your onions to burn, cook them on a lower flame, but also cover them. And so that moisture stays in the dish because the condensation comes on the lid, and then it'll drop back into whatever you're cooking, and it'll prevent it from sticking to the bottom so easily. So I'm hoping that this will bring people together at a time when, we're so polarized in this country. I think we need to talk to each other as human beings and as people, not as Republicans or Democrats, not in a red state or blue state, just as Americans, all wanting the same thing, which is peace, harmony, and for our families to flourish.